Hi, welcome to our presentation. Today we're going to be talking about Lyraquist, and Lyraquist is a music application that aids in language learning. My name is Siri Avila, and I'm studying computer science and math, and I'm from Columbia, South Carolina.
My name is Ashley Bickham, and I'm studying computer science as well, and I'm also from Columbia, South Carolina.
Hi, my name is Vivian DeSouza. I'm also studying computer science, and I'm from Charleston, South Carolina.
My name is Mahi. I'm a computer science major from Lexington, South Carolina.
And my name is Tanvi, and I'm a computer engineering major from Irmo, South Carolina.
So, when I was a sophomore, I did studies abroad semester in Ireland, and my roommates came from all over the world. And one of our fondest memories was us eating dinner together, and something that we'd bond over was music. We just pull out our phones and play songs and then try to explain the meanings of the lyrics to each other. And through this experience, I not only got to listen to a lot of good music from around the world, I also grew closer to my roommates and found the itch to start studying a new language. So when I came back to USC, I decided I was going to learn German, and I think that music has remained a big part of my language learning journey so far.
Yeah, when I studied abroad in Spain, I found myself having a deeper connection with language, culture, and environment, but only after I started consuming Spanish music in my Latin dance class. I tried to use Duolingo and some of the other language learning apps since there are many out there. However, one of the issues that we found was that a lot of this learning is done without context. So Duolingo has an already created curriculum, but it didn't fit my needs. I can ask someone if they're a cat, right? But I didn't really have the context and the tradition and culture that came with the words that I was learning. And so this is why we believe we wanted to create this app. We found that music really helped and aided in our language learning journey. The goal is to use music to learn language in a way that goes beyond vocabulary, right? Everyone can be a lyrical linguist. This kind of learning is done passively. So while we're learning the words and vocabulary, we're learning the context, culture, and traditions that come with the songs that we're listening to while we're learning. Currently, Lyraquist is an Android app that's downloadable via an APK. Now let's hear more about our tech stack for this app. So here's a quick preview of some of the tech that we used. We're going to each go into a little bit more specifics of each of the things. So first things first, React Native. So to develop our app, we decided to use React Native, which is an open source UI software framework for app development. All of the user interface and the components that you will see in our features and our demo were made in React Native. So one of the pros with React Native and why we chose it was because of its cross-platform capabilities. So even though for the sake of this project, we coded with Android in mind, we're able to manage the code to also include iOS users potentially in the future.
So Expo is an open source platform built on top of React Native, which allows developers to build mobile apps using JavaScript and React. Expo allows for us to develop, build, and deploy our application through an APK, which will be explained more later. For our application, we will use both the Expo development client and the Expo application services. The Expo development client allows for a more customized development environment, which is useful for making more custom native code. The Expo application services provides cloud services for building, submitting, and updating our app.
We use several APIs to create our app. So Lyraquist uses the Spotify Web API to enhance the language learning experience by doing things like linking a Spotify account to their Lyraquist profile. They can also use the API to perform calls that retrieve the recently played items, use the music playback functionality to listen to songs, and they can use language translation that's incorporated with another API as well. So the Web API does a lot for us, and we would not be able to create our app without it.
So another API that we used from Spotify was the Spotify Software Development Kit. This SDK provided us with full playback of songs, as the Web API only provides you with a 30-second preview of the track. It also gave us control over the starting and stopping of playback, and it also returned the playback position in milliseconds, so we were able to show the user the progress that the track has made so far. And this is a Java-based library, and since most of our app was written in TypeScript, I had to code a special kind of bridge code to navigate between the two languages.
So to provide lyrics for display for any song dynamically, we used Music Matches Lyrics API. Music's Match is a music data company that licenses song lyrics for multiple music service platforms like Spotify. It allows for users to search for lyrics by song title, artist name, or even just a line from the song. Music's Match offers API services for developers by providing 30% of lyrics for free. We're able to fetch the lyrics for any specific song by making a call to the API using a key provided to developers, along with the song title and artist name. Providing the lyrics for display for users of our application can enhance the listening experience by helping users understand the words and meanings of songs in various languages. We also used Google Translation API. We researched and experimented with many APIs for translation like OpenAI and Microsoft Azure, but we felt that Google Translation API had the best API and it was also free. The auto detect function from Google Translate is implemented to be used on those lyrics to detect what language they are from, and then the lyrics are translated from the original language into the user's preferred language. The preferred language is their chosen target language and will be used for all app translation features.
So next, after that, one of the APIs we used is called Lexicala. Lexicala is a comprehensive multi-language database that contains word-specific lexical data, and we ended up specifically choosing this API because it has multilingual support, which is a feature that is lacking in most other lexical databases, which most often only have English. And so we used a specific word and the associated language that was determined by Google Translate's auto-detect to specify which word and language dictionary to query Lexicala. And from that response, we got their definitions and their part of speech information. And then we also used Expo Speech, which is another native Expo library, and that was used to dictate words.
All right, and now to have our app remember user data, we used Firebase, which is an online real-time database from Google. So no user data is stored on the device, it's all in the cloud. So data was stored in around 4 tables, and the majority of the data is arranged around the user. So if our tables were storing playlists, songs, and workbooks, they were all given a specific ID that were connected to a user in the user table. Firebase also allowed us to authenticate users. So when a user first signs up, Firebase stores their credentials, email, password securely and separately from the rest of the user data. And Firebase can also provide us email and password validation. So for example, if a user enters an invalid password or an invalid email, maybe based on length or what's the actually put in the email or password field, Firebase can detect that and prompt the user to recheck that field, and they can re-enter their values again.
Next up for the actual APK, we first used, before making the APK, we actually used Expo Doctor, which scanned for project dependency errors, issues, vulnerabilities, outdated deprecated versions, and possibly incompatibilities from our collaboration environments, since one of us has a Mac, and so we don't want that to feed into our code. Actually building it, we use Gradle, and that helps build, test, and deploy the Android application, and that's how we make the APK.
Now let's get to the fun part and show you what our app can do in our features.
All right, so first thing, when a user downloads their app, they got to sign up. So we're going to role play today as Bella. Bella is a USC student, and in a couple weeks, she's going to head off to her study abroad in France. So she wants to brush up on her French skills. So she's going to go ahead and sign up for a Lyraquist account. And after she's done filling out all of her information, she'll be directed to connect her Spotify premium account. So the reason why a premium account is required is that Spotify only allows premium users to ping their APIs. So if a user wants to use our app, they have to have a Spotify premium account. And when a user connects their Spotify account, their account is granted an access token by the API, and our app can use that access token to make requests to the Spotify web API and SDK on that Spotify account's behalf. So in just a minute here, when Bella logs in with her information, she'll be directed to a permission screen displaying all the permissions that the Spotify account requires in order to be used with Lyraquist, and she'll have to agree to those conditions in order to continue using the Lyraquist app. And the main functionality that connection to Spotify provides is playback of music and search functionality, and along with some more minor functionality with the obtaining of cover art, song details, artist info, all that good stuff. So yeah, Bella's going to agree to the permissions here, and she's taken to the home screen.
So While being introduced to a new language, Bella might be wondering, well, where do I start? I don't really know any French songs. I don't really know where to go. So she can maybe start with her favorite songs that she already knows in her own language and then move on to exploring some new ones. So we're going to go to the search feature in the upper right-hand corner of the home screen. So on the screen, you can search for any song on Spotify using the song title or the artist name. So for example, if we search for Hips Don't Lie by Shakira, we can view the first 20 search results, and it is a continuous search, so it'll search while she's typing. And if I wanted to search for an artist like Selena, you will get a similar effect. So now she wants to search for French specifically. So if we click by search by language and we search here for French, our current supported languages are French, Spanish, and German, and we can click on the French screen. So this is a Lyraquist recommended playlist. These are songs that we thought would be good for beginners and good for people exploring French for the first time. So this is about 50 songs of hand-chosen songs by us. So she can scroll through these, she can look for anything she might like, or she might want to say, well, hey, what's popular and what's trendy in France right now so I can be up to date. So she can click on trending in French, and she can view this is the Billboard top songs in French right now. So this will update regularly so she can constantly be in the loop of what's going on. And finally, if Bella wants to prioritize French to say, hey, I'm trying to learn French right now, we can take French and we can star it. So if we go to the home screen, French will view here as a starred language. And if she says, hey, I might want to try focusing on another language, she can also unstar this language.
Bella can also listen to music straight from our app. So in our Tune Back In section of the home screen, this is where she can listen to previously played songs. So if she wants to play Disenchante again, she can simply click on it from our home screen. Click the play button. She can also pause and then play it again. And then I really like this song, so I'm gonna like it with that heart symbol. Then when I get back to my home screen, I'm gonna be able to see it in my saved song. So even if it's no longer within my history, I can also refer back to it.
So on the playback page, Bella can click the arrow to swipe up to see a top tab navigator of lyrics. Bella can switch between the lyrics released in the original language and the lyrics translated to the user's preferred language. On the translation page, we are able to see a translation of the lyrics from the original lyrics to the user's preferred language. On the original lyrics page, we can click on any word to see the meaning of this word. On the modal that pops up, Bella can see the meaning of the word in her preferred language, the definition provided to her by the Lexical API, and a speaker icon that allows for the dictation of the word.
Tandre.
Once Bella clicks close, she can go back to the viewing of the lyrics released in the original language, and she can click the drop-down arrow to pull the lyrics back down to go to the playback.
Users will also be able to save specific words to a workbook, serving as a bookmark for convenient access of that word later. So let's say that Bella wants to save the word lit, which is French. We can save it to our workbook. We have our information there, and we can save it to our workbook. So we're going to select a workbook, and we're going to create a new workbook called French Articles. And we're going to save that. And then after we've saved that, we're going to close the modal, and we can go to the home menu. And from the home, we can see that workbook, that French articles. There we go. We can click it, and we can see the word, and we can see its translation. From here, you can also star that word specifically if you want to focus on that word or anything else. You can also add specific words from here. So we're going to add a word, bonjour, which means hello. We're going to add it. Okay. And we can also delete that word with the X button. We do have a search feature as well within our workbooks, and so you can search the word, and if you search like hello, there will be no results. And then from the actual workbook itself, you can delete it entirely from clicking the X at the title.
Yep, and that's all the features that we have currently implemented within Lyraquist. I want to thank my fellow teammates, the professors, and the QA team for helping us make this product as usable as possible and to what it currently is today. And if Bella ever wants to change any information in her settings, she can always change the information, or we can always just log out and make a new account and start all over.